Elon Musk is in trouble, and that is because Mark Zuckerberg is coming for Twitter with his new app called Threads. So in this video, I'm going to quickly break it down. I'm also going to show you a quick video of me using the app just to give you a better idea near the end of the video. Let's go ahead and break it down. Are you ready?
Ready.
All right, let's go. Kevin here, top 1 financial advisor and best-selling author. We are here to talk about the stock market. All right, so as I mentioned, Threads is out. I've been using it for the last several hours. This is just my first reactions and how I think it can impact the stock market, specifically shares of Meta, which are already up more than 130% so far this year. So got my notes here. I'm just gonna run through them very quickly. First, it's a very simple app. It is a copy and paste of Twitter, except it is extremely simple. Like, think of it as Twitter Lite. All you do is post your thread and follow people. That's it. There is no spaces. There is no trending screen. There's a lot less noise because Twitter, for me, especially the last year and a half, has got real noise and real strange. So this one is very simple, very sleek. And what I like most about it, and this is probably the second observation here, it's already connected to your Instagram account, assuming that you have one. So I have one, and all I did was download the app, and instantly it pulled my name, my picture, and even my followers, or the people I follow rather, already on there. So when I first got in there and hit refresh, my friends that I know in real life were already there. People I talk to on Instagram all the time were already there. So it already felt like, I don't want to say home, but it felt familiar. And that is something that is, I think, underestimated because you're not building from zero. If you're a content creator, that does matter. If you're also someone who you're just on social media to keep in touch and put out your thoughts and all that kind of stuff, that helps too, because you're not starting from zero and kind of climbing to the top or just putting stuff out in nowhere, right? Unlike TikTok, that was a new skill for a whole lot of people to figure out how you fit something in a tiny box and make those things interesting and fun, or just observe. This is extremely simple, something you're probably already used to, and I think it's one reason why in just a few hours it's already taken off. So it is something extremely simple, and the fact it's connected to Instagram is already good, and then the fact that it's basically taking Twitter and just boiling it down to its main thing, putting out a simple thought. You can add a picture, you can add a GIF, you can add a video if you choose, and that's it. So way less noisy, very, very simple. So those are my first two thoughts. The next one is, it will impact the stock market as a whole, but it definitely is going to have an impact on Meta. Remember, Meta was already one of the top 10 most valuable companies in the US. And I had a question that we talked about earlier this week about whether or not Meta was even worth 130% more than what it was last year. I had open questions. I questioned Mark Zuckerberg's leadership on the whole metaverse thing, but this is different. This is different. This is one of those things where it changes that, hey, you might actually be onto something. Mark Zuckerberg has a track record for killing other social media apps. If he can't buy it, he will kill it. Ask Snapchat how that went for them. Once Instagram rolled out Instagram stories, that was it. Snapchat had really fallen off and hasn't really recovered since. Mark Zuckerberg has been trying to attack Twitter for many years. Why hashtags popped up on Twitter, was it 5 or 6 years ago, and hasn't really done what he expected to do. He even tried to come at YouTube with Facebook Live and with Instagram TV. That hasn't really worked, but this one might be a bit different because Elon has alienated a lot of core Twitter users, myself included, but no one's paying to scroll 7,000 tweets or whatever that rate limit was over the weekend. Nobody wants to pay for verification. If you've worked hard to become quote unquote notable, why would you now have to pay for something that you were already used to getting for free? We're going to see if these things will change with Threads, and we know it will evolve. If we know nothing else about Mark Zuckerberg and his products, things will change. They always do. Instagram is not the same as what it was 5 years ago. Even the logo is not the same as what it was several years ago. And the exact same thing for Facebook. So this is not an end product. It is very, very new. Within the first 24 hours I'm putting out this video. But again, these are my first reactions. Now, next thing I'm going to show you, as I mentioned earlier in the video, I'm going to put just a quick scroll video just to give you an idea of what the app is and how it works. So as you're watching on the screen right now, this is just my homepage and some of the threads or tweets, if you really want to go there, that I put out, including how Meta stock has taken off. But again, super simple. You put it out there, You go on about your business. You can follow more people if you choose, or you can follow me. Throw that out there too. But also, here's the my profile page, which looks exactly like my Instagram page, and then the homepage where you just scroll through. You pull down from the top as it refreshes, and that's really it. Right now, it is probably the easiest, simplest app out there to go from signing up to putting out any content or putting out any thoughts. Right? Probably the easiest thing I've ever used at this point in time. But again, super early. All right. The last thing is it's interesting that Elon thought that people would pay. I'm curious as to, I've said this, I've been extremely consistent. I put out a video last year around how he was changing verification, or it might have been earlier this year, but around how he was trying to monetize the platform. I said back then that free speech, that was his business model, is not a business model. That's not how things work. And people are not used to paying for social media, and we are starting to figure that out. In the last week alone, we have seen Spill, which is another social media app, really take off from 2 former Twitter employees, and now you're seeing Mark Zuckerberg come directly at Twitter with this Threads app. Now, thankfully, I guess for investors, you can't buy shares of Twitter anymore. When he bought that, he took it off the market, took the company private, so you're not going to lose any money there. Great. But I do think this is a tremendous opportunity for Meta to continue to grow. We'll see if it has staying power. If it does, this is a tremendous opportunity for them, and here's why. Meta is an advertising company. They use your data, like it or not, and what you tweet and what other people, I guess, tweet now, what you post and all that kind of stuff to figure out what your company profile is. And as a creator and a business owner and someone who works in marketing, I've seen both sides of this. So I run my own ads. I run ads for multi-million-dollar companies. And what I can tell you from that perspective, what we do when we're trying to get your attention is find an ad, put those ads in front of people who need the product. So if you want to invest and you're looking to invest, I obviously want my class, my books, my content in front of you because you find this stuff valuable. Well, now Meta can pull in if I'm advertising, instead of advertising on Twitter, which the algorithm has not been known to do well and the return on investment hasn't done well, which is why Twitter it continuously loses money. The Instagram and Facebook algorithms have been much better. And what this now says is, as an advertiser, I know this is a clean platform. I don't have a lot of the baggage of Twitter. I don't have any of the risk of Twitter. And I know you already have an algorithm and I already have a built-in audience because I can easily take my Instagram audience, my Facebook audience, and now advertise perhaps on this new platform at some point and have a baseline to compare it to, as opposed to a standalone Twitter, which has been very, very risque. What we notice is a lot of brands, one, don't want to have to deal with this whole verification thing where people were buying fake accounts, right? And saying, I am Eli Lilly and everything is free now, which was not true. The other thing too is brands are very, very sensitive. We've seen this on YouTube and other companies where they don't want to put out their advertisement next to something that probably shouldn't be there. You don't want an ad for medication with a post about racism or something very, very crazy. You don't want those two things to be associated. That has been an issue on Twitter. It has not come up and has not been an issue on Instagram. It hasn't been an issue on YouTube lately. And that's because of how strong their algorithms are. And a lot of some people would call it censorship, but really just their risk and how they check a lot of the things that are out there. They want their platforms to be usable for most people. Twitter, when they went for the whole free speech model, which does have some benefits, it also has no limitations. And for an advertiser, you don't always want that. Like, you really don't want to have, if you're advertising a kid's toy, you don't want that next to adult content. You cannot post that on Instagram. You can't post it on YouTube, but you can on Twitter. That's an issue, right? If I'm advertising kids' toys, I don't want that next to something else that I cannot control. So those are some of the things that it's going to be an advantage for Meta, and this could really corner the market. Again, it's super, super early to say that this is going to be the next TikTok, because it could also be the next Clubhouse. And we all thought how Clubhouse was going to be the next big thing, and it wasn't. So we will see where it goes. If I had to choose with scale of 1 to 10 of how sustainable this is going to be, today I'm at a 7, but again, it's extremely early. So I do think, again, this makes me raise an eyebrow at Meta. If you want me to do a breakdown on Meta from a stock market perspective, feel free to let me know in the comments, because I will be doing one on PCAR, the stock symbol is PCAR. I'm also doing one on Moderna. Y'all had asked me earlier this week, so I'm going to make sure that I tackle those. I'm going to use the weekend to go and read up on those and put out some quality content on those. So that is it for me. Let me know if you are on Threads. Follow me. If you're on Threads, I will put my, I guess my new handle and stuff. It's at Building Bread as well. But I'll put that in the comment section below. All right, that is it for me. I will talk to y'all later. Bye.